They say when the dam filled, the whole village went under, and some of the people stayed behind. Every year, on that night, the locals say you can hear the church bell ringing under the water. I've never been the type to believe ghost stories, but that night, something happened I still can't explain. So hear me out, and you can be the judge of whether to believe it or not. I was working as a commercial diver back then, still green, fresh out of training, learning the ropes. That night, we got the call just past midnight for an urgent job at the dam. Something about a sudden pressure drop below the surface. They paired me with one of the veterans, calm, steady, the kind of guy who'd been doing this longer than I'd been alive. It was my first real emergency dive, and the first time I'd been called out at night. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous, but knowing I was paired with him, it put me at ease. I remember it being a beautiful autumn night. The air was cold, the moon was bright, shining over the reservoir. The water was completely still. We suited up in silence, tanks, masks, comms, just routine stuff, but the crew felt off. Everyone was quieter than usual. As I was zipping up, one of the older dam workers muttered, "Strange night for it." I asked what he meant, but he just shook his head. A minute later, I thought I heard something carry over the water. Faint, like a bell, or maybe metal knocking around in the dam. I glanced at the others. No one reacted, so I let it go. My partner clicked on his torch and gave me a nod. That was it. We went in. The water closed over me, and for a second all I could hear was my own breathing. That slow, hollow echo inside the mask. It was dark straight away. Our torches cut narrow beams through the water, but beyond that, nothing. Just black. Honestly, it felt a bit claustrophobic. As we kept diving deeper, shapes started to appear. Stone walls, a leaning fence, what was left of a roof. We drifted past a broken gate, a sunken well, and then I saw it, the church. The tower was cracked, but still standing. The doors were half open, swaying with the current, and that's when this feeling came over me. A mix of sadness, fear, even nostalgia. It's hard to explain. All I could think was how wrong it felt. These used to be people's homes, their lives, and now it was all just sitting under the water, forgotten. My partner gave me the signal. Quick sweep of the area, then meet back at the church. Nothing complicated. I gave him a thumbs up and peeled off. Being on my own now, in the dark water with the ruins around me, it felt a bit creepy. Not even a minute later, I felt firm taps on my shoulder. I spun around, expecting to see him right there, but there was nothing, just black water stretching out in every direction. I did a full circle with the torch. Nobody. My heart started going faster. It really was taps, clear as day. The longer I floated there, the more it felt like I wasn't alone. So I turned and swam hard back to the meeting point. I got back to the church and waited. No sign of him yet. I floated there, looking around, trying to calm myself down, telling myself those taps were nothing, probably just my gear shifting or something. Then the comms crackled. At first it was just static, then it turned into these low noises. In my half-panicked state, it sounded like groans, like someone in pain. I don't know, I couldn't be sure. I held still, listening, but then it cut out and went silent. Not long after, I saw a light cutting through the dark. My partner, just seeing him calmed me down a bit. He swam up beside me and gave a quick nod like nothing had happened. For a second, I almost let myself relax. We finished the sweep and started to head back up. That's when it happened. Something grabbed me. A hand clamped tight around my ankle and yanked hard, pulling me down. I swung the torch and saw it. A face in the dark, right below me. Pale, bloated, hair drifting in the water, eyes cloudy and smiling. I screamed and started kicking and thrashing, trying to break free. The grip was strong, but somehow I managed to shake it off. I looked down and saw my partner reaching for me before something pulled him into the dark. His torch beam whipped across the church ruins, then vanished. It all happened so fast. Now I was alone. I didn't wait. I just turned and kicked for the surface. My chest was getting tighter every second. It felt like no matter how hard I kicked, I wasn't moving fast enough. I kept telling myself, don't look down, just keep going up. It felt like forever, but then I broke the surface. The floodlights were there, and the crew pulled me onto the boat. I ripped the mask off, gasping, shaking so bad I couldn't get a word out. They kept asking what happened, where my partner was. All I could do was point back at the water. The search team went out a couple of hours later. It wasn't until later that morning they found him, tangled in debris near the old church ruins. Everything about it looked wrong. His tank was full, his mask was still in place, no sign of trauma. And his face, mouth open, eyes wide open, frozen in terror at something he saw in those final moments, and wrapped around his ankle were dark bruises. The report said drowning, but I'll never believe that. That was the last dive I ever did. I changed careers after that, and I stay away from water as much as I can now. It's been a few years since that night, but every autumn, when the air is cold and the moon is bright, I swear I still hear that bell. I've never been the type to believe in ghost stories, but what I saw down there, it stayed with me ever since. So believe it or don't, that's up to you.